All right, let's continue here. So guys can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know why it's not. Okay, there we go. So let's deep dive a little bit into this part, right? The machine learning. Now we talked about three types of there are a lot more, but these are the most commonly used: supervised, unsupervised, reinforced, and then the deep learning. Deep learning goes into multi nodes, and it's more than just detecting yes or no versus this is the deep learning is what is used in your Tesla autonomous cars and all those guys, right? They have a lot more going on. They have so many cameras. They're detecting things from all the four sides and trying to make a judgment every time. It's judging to know which way to go, what speed to go, which direction to go, what is coming in the front, what is coming in the back. So it's just like a human, like how when we are driving, we are scanning all three, four sides, we're also looking what's coming at the back exactly the same way it's trying to figure that out. So think about how much of data it has to collect, one, and how much does data needs to make sense, right? What that data is it coming from the back, or it's coming from the side, or it's coming from the front? And if it is in the front, what should be the distance between the front object? If there is an object, am I going in the right direction? Am I going in the right speed? Will I hit that? Do I have to stop? All these calculations are happening continuously. And I don't think, is the Tesla's autonomous driving all out yet or no? What is the update on that? Anybody knows?
I thought it was already out, isn't it? People were using it.
But I
there
don't
were
think it can go without a human, right?
No, I think my cousin has a Tesla that I think
Yeah, you have to have
it's a software or something you can drive. It can drive by itself. Just have to have your hand on the steering wheel. It does the rest for you.
yeah, somebody has to be supervising it, right?
Exactly.
Mhm.
It's not approved for non-manned driving yet.
Yeah. Did you see there was a release in
full service driving?
Huh? Sorry, what was it, Reena? We couldn't hear you. Sorry, okay. Did you see, I saw yesterday there was this company called Zero Pod or something that has released an autonomous car in India, Bangalore. And that's actually completely autonomous, and it can go, they're allowing it to go in the smaller streets and all that stuff, not yet in the freeway, but it's all ready to go. Zero Pod, I think that's what it's called. And it's very different looking. It's just like, you guys have all seen Auto, right? It's just like a box, right? It's a square box, and both the sides people are sitting face to face, and it just goes. I don't know how safe it is. It doesn't have doors, just like Auto. So, but it's okay for Indian roads and Indian speed and all. I think it's not a bad idea. But that's just the beginning. And I said, it was on LinkedIn. You can check it out. And I heard what they were telling is this is just the beginning, and this is going to change the whole. This is going to change a lot in India. Okay, I want some discussions on this point. I want you to think beyond this. This is just we just scratch the surface, but think beyond what are the thoughts coming to your head, and how do you think you, because my goal is here to make sure that you are able to understand these concepts to a level where you can talk about it in your interviews. And because as I said, there is no every interview is going to touch upon this, and I know a lot of you are looking for new opportunities. So how are you going to talk about this in your interviews? That's important, right? This is not a class where you will be able to, you will work on AI, right? It's about familiarity with AI and to be able to showcase that in your interviews. Anybody? Anyone wants to share any? I know if you're looking for jobs, you've been giving interviews. Has this come up in your interviews ever? What kind of questions do they ask?
I think deep learning is capturing more details, right? Example, whatever it has been shown here, like color.
Yeah, deep
Really
learning
more,
is analyzing, not
Yeah,
just
more
catching
data,
data.
correct. Yeah,
It analyzes like a human brain
correct.
beyond prediction. This is, if you look at the simple one, supervised and all, it's just predictions, right? It'll
Hmm.
just say if the customer has a propensity to purchase or not purchase. Is this a car or not a car? That's
Yeah,
about it. A prediction, is this an apple or not an apple? Versus the deep learning goes beyond that. It is an apple and it is a ripe apple, and this apple is from Mexico. It will go beyond that.
look, yeah.
Anybody wants to share if you were in any of the recent interviews, how you've been asked questions through on AI? Is anybody has gotten their experience?
At least not myself.
So hope-
Well, maybe if you have been in interview panels, maybe it would be helpful if you could share some questions.
So I'm thinking, I think the reason why you have not heard, I think the group is not answering is because probably it was not a role for AI. That's why they have not asked about it in general, right? Because if they know, like if you are a project manager, or then they will say, have you worked with the AI or ML engineers? And you will have to talk about the model life cycle. We'll get into that, right? Because it's not about the product life cycle anymore. That's why in today's class, we're going to go touch upon product life cycle and then how the model life cycle works. So now it is the product models life cycle too, because products output is dependent on the models product's outcome is dependent on the model's output, right? If the model is not accurate, it's not working well, the product is not going to perform. So how this is how everyone at any level has to think about how you need to bring in ML into your product. I mean, I'm talking.
If I may,
Mhm.
if I may interrupt, Mala, I read a lot these days about prompt engineers, coaching the models. I think it'll be the reverse of what we are learning about deep learning is how teaching, right? So I do not know how relevant it is, but I am reading more and hearing more about jobs and the requirements and programs for prompt engineers. So
Prompt
I
engineers.
Yeah, they're called
Yeah.
AI. They're called AI prompt engineers.
And what are
So-
how are they different from AI engineers? I'll have to check.
so I think from see my understanding in ML or deep learning would be the reverse. It would be like teaching the model how to do the feature extraction, prompting questions that would allow it to learn feature extraction and classification and things like that.
Is that how? Can you Google? Somebody can tell what does prompt engineer mean?
Yeah, it's more like giving syntax and asking the AI engine to throw some feedback. So meaning like act as an interviewer and by giving JD job description and ask questions. So that's one of the prompt engineering, and so there are multiple.
I see. What you're saying is basically coming up with prompts to ask the.
Chatbot.
Currently, there are a
Yes.
lot of people who are working on products to create prompts to ask ChatGPT.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Oh, that's why. So what is this? What do these prompt engineers do? how to ask the model, huh?
So they will prompt at least some level of intelligent questions to the, starting from simple, medium, complex. And then based on what the model comes up with in terms of ask a question, it comes up with choices. Then you will pick the right choice. So the model will learn this is the right choice. And I'm sorry, I'm in a cab. And then it will learn to reject the other two. So that is why it will become increasingly sophisticated to get to the outcomes based on the quality and sophistication of the questions that are being prompted, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Lot of. So I've not. I didn't know the term is called prompt engineering, but it's interesting. But I know that a lot of people are thinking of startup ideas on how to develop this user interface to structure the questions so that you can ask the question so that you don't have to think about how to ask the question, and you ask the right question so that ChatGPT comes back with the right answers.
Yeah.
Like I know in the conference when I went, I know one pair of guys, right? I mean, they're doing some MBA and they were that guy's idea was to create a person, see what Microsoft, that's what, this is an important thing. Microsoft is currently working on co-piloting. Have you heard of this word terminology, co-pilot? So they are trying to create, what that mean is create a clone for you, right? That can do everything. So co-pilot is somebody like a pilot. So they are trying to create, put your life in co-pilot state, right? That you can let that co-pilot do things and you are free to do. So that's how it's a very high level. They explained Microsoft is investing and trying to come up with that kind of a product. So basically,
Hey, Mala.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick. So how's this going to be different from what Tesla is doing today? Because what you have in Tesla today, the autonomous driving, is manned driving, right? So it's a supervised driving. And what Tesla is doing with that is it's collecting data based on your driving mode, your driving skills, and your driving pattern, right? And it's constantly teaching your system on what you would like to do as a driver and how should your customized driving experience be. So whatever Microsoft has come up with, the Copilot mode, how different is that from what Tesla is doing today?
Tesla is only doing at the car level, right? They are trying to do at every level of your every part of your life.
That's true, but could this be seen as Tesla is piloting has piloted it already, and Microsoft is following suit and expanding the scope of it?
So it could, you can, okay, finish your question.
Yeah. Basically, I mean, I just want to know if what Microsoft is doing is an extension of what Tesla has been doing, or is this totally different from what Tesla has been doing? Because I mean, I'm just asking this for my understanding, right? So just to compare things and see.
Yeah. I would not say this is anything different, right? At the end of the day, it's a machine learning. Everybody is trying to do that only. So, but if you know, it is so complicated that as a human, I can drive, I can read, I can cook, I can converse, I can type. But it is so complicated that a machine can do, they can only make the machine do specialize and do one thing. So Tesla is focusing only on a co-pilot driver, right? That's all. And there are companies out there, check out interface.ai. Those guys are specializing in taking over CRM or the customer representative calls, automating those calls through AI only for banking. Like Alexa, you can't talk to Alexa. Alexa is good at only ordering in Amazon. That cannot do everything, right? So machines are not, they are trying to get there, but it cannot do everything like a human. They have to be, each one are trying to train. So interface.ai, what was the other one? Infinitus.ai is focusing on healthcare. It's also, again, the customer representative calls. You call the doctor, they'll say, hey, what is your, whatever your number, your membership number, what are your symptoms? They're automating all this. Now, interface AI cannot sell to healthcare because they are specializing only on banking, on identifying your voice becoming a password, then they are able to open your banking account. So they are so focused only on the fintech. And Infinitus AI is focused only on healthcare. Like that, there are so many out there who are focusing on only one area. So I think Microsoft is trying to kind of consolidate. They did not tell, they only said Copilot.
Right.
So which means I will have my clone to do things. And that person, that clone or that AI will know everything about me, and it is just me. And I don't have to do things, right? What is Copilot?
Right.
You just let the Copilot do things and you just sit there.
Yep.
That's what
Got it.
I'm thinking. They did not open up anything. You guys can go do the research, but that's what Microsoft is investing in right now. So somebody was asking, oh my God, everything is gone. See where Microsoft is going. The other thing that I wanted to also highlight that something was there in my mind. It was depending on somebody's question, but yeah, it'll come back again. So what I was going to say something. Anyways, let's continue the discussion. Any other questions and thoughts? The prompt,
late-
yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So of late, I've been while searching for jobs, right? So I've been seeing job descriptions like, nowadays, I mean, the companies are trying to expedite by building APIs and plugins to leverage AI models, right? I mean, so say for example, when I was looking at Figma, InVision kind of application, which is helping us to build prototypical versions. Now they are plugged in with the AIs. So the job description says that, you should know Figma by leveraging AI. So meaning you should be able to work on both sides, right? So not only on the just UI UX building wireframes, but also should be able to know how to accelerate the overall prototype by leveraging AI. So so that kind of product management job descriptions are appearing nowadays. So
very interesting, very interesting. Yeah, I mean that's so that's something that you will have to learn, right? Now, this is the basics for it. Now you know how it works, what it is. So then you have to I find out what kind of prompts to give. So the thought that came into my mind was this guy who I met in that conference, he is trying to come up with a product. He wants to build a startup, AI startup, where it will become your, I don't know what, it's your personality development tool for you. So it is like a mentor with you, right? Now he's going to develop a user interface that will come up with the right questions and right prompts to give to ChatGPT. So it will tell a lot of kids now, you ask them, what do you want to become? They don't know what. So you give the prompts like, I like this, I like that, I like this, I did this, I did that, I did that in your life. If you combine everything and tell what is the best profession for you, what should you be doing? What is the right thing for you? It's just one example I'm giving, but that is something he's trying to develop at every stage of your life. It will give you, now you go and look for consultants and mentors and counselors. He is saying that you give those prompts. So he's developing the interface for that, because ChatGPT can do it today, but you just don't know how to ask ChatGPT, right? So he's going to create, so the world is going to change in a way that I think the prompt was a very good segue into this topic, where now people are going to come up with products to creating interface. They're going to specialize on how to prompt the AI to get what answers we want. Not everybody knows. Now, there was a guy I saw in LinkedIn who has already created and published this, and he's charging, and he's saying, here are the list of things I have come up with that you can do your day-to-day work, like how to create, if you want to create a PPT, here are the prompts. If you want to do this, here are the prompts. If you want to, so he come up with 10 or 12 things, and he's charging like $300 or something. Pay him that and you will get all the prompts. Right?
I think I have the whole list we can test it here. Yeah.
What is it?
I think
Yeah, I have the
Sorry, go
link to that.
Can you
there
please
are-
post that in the?
I'll
in
post
the
it here.
list?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, please, because I saw that and I was wanting to review it again and I couldn't remember what it was. Please post it so everybody
Yeah.
can have it.
I think people who have subject matter expertise, will be extremely good counterparts for technologists in terms of creating these powerful prompt or models, that will help answer those type of questions and solve those kind of problems. Like think of a learning expert or a person with a degree in psychology or how people work or neuroscience. So all those things, if somebody wants to find out, for example, how to assess, I'm just thinking this, how to assess the value of this artifact that was discovered, and so then you need somebody who's an archaeologist or who has that kind of expertise. Subject matter experts will be very valuable in becoming prompt quote unquote engineers.
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly where the deep learning is coming in, right? So, but so then all these prompts are going in and making an analysis. It's just not about this yes or no. It's about making an analysis about you and then coming out with what you should be doing as a profession. That's something a counselor does, right? So they are doing an analysis. So those are the things that's a lot of people are already done it. I'm surprised. In fact, I am seeing a lot of products come out from India. Lots of them. I'm so surprised. We think we are just starting AI. They are already there. They're selling products. There are companies who are saying that we will maintain your models. Like how there are companies that came up like in the past 10 years, 20 years from India, right? We will do QA for you. We will automate QA for you. We will do your UX UI design, right? We used to give those little projects to a vendor and they'll do it. Now there are companies in India who are vendors who are saying, I will maintain your model. I was like, oh my God, we are thinking that we are getting into AI, but they're already ahead of us. That's what I was trying to say. Last time somebody pinged me, I think a question.
I did. Yeah, I was very curious when you said they're ahead of us. My interest was really piqued. I'm quite curious to know, like in what way. Thank you for revisiting that, Mala. And if the name of those kind of companies comes to your mind, please do go ahead and share, whether email or here.
Sure.
Very
It
helpful.
is my insight. I get all this insight on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, the most number of people who are active are Indian companies. India is like at a different level, different speed. I am surprised to see that they already have formed companies that can maintain your model. And here we are still struggling to develop a model. Right. So that's what I was saying. And there are so many classes already started in India. They're teaching AI and machine learning and all that stuff. So that's what I meant. They're so ahead of us. So that's your next, if you are looking for next startup or something, these are the good ideas for you to start. I'll maintain your model, or you can say I'll create your prompts. These are easiest things. If you have expertise in those areas, you can start doing those. But I wouldn't see anything is easy. Yeah, there is this link, right? What he has 100 and list of, is it 1,500 prompts, huh? Useful, mind-blowing and strange use case.
Yeah, there are around 3,000 prompts that they built already. And yeah, so.
This is not that Indian company though, right?
No, I don't think so.
This
Yeah.
is not. There is one guy in the Indian, but this is just a, can you purchase this or it's free?
I think it's free. Yeah. So almost all these prompts are being published in LinkedIn nowadays. So.
Correct. And so this guy who I'm saying, he was selling it. Let me, I kind of saved it somewhere. When I find it, I'll send it to you guys. Art prompts. Wow. See, this is why I was saying it's so ahead. We are just starting to learn.
Yeah, and also ChatGPT learns from us. So prompt engineering is more like, we give inputs and make the ChatGPT we train the ChatGPT also while we ask them questions. Say, for example, if I want to compare two data sets using Python, right? So my prompt might be different from the prompt that the other person is asking.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
ChatGPT would learn from us also. The next time, it would come try to
Yeah,
maximize. Yeah.
ChatGPT is going to get more and more powerful because more and more people using it. Have you guys ever compared Bard and ChatGPT? Give the same prompt to both the guys. It's so, I did that and I just did not like what Bard came up with. It was very, very high, shabby answers, very high level, very generic, versus ChatGPT was so to the point and very, very detailed.
Yep.
Cool. So what am I going? So here is another slide that I put together to look at your applications again, which is not very different from what I had before, but I thought this is not a bad idea to show you where all it can get into. And e-commerce is the place where it's always the cutting edge. E-commerce is ahead of any other industry to implement the technology. So then I know we are going to get into the next session, but what I'm going to cover here is a regular product development lifecycle. So can you last 5 minutes, I want to know how many of you are familiar with product management lifecycle?
Yeah.
Can I get a sense of yes, no, so that I know how much to cover the product life cycle and how much it's not needed? How are you guys answering by, okay, chat, okay. I am not. Okay, so is it majority or no? A lot of no's, okay. Sorry? So this is at a high level. We'll get into the next video, next link, but I'm just going to do a 1 minute introduction to product management lifecycle, and we'll continue there. So product management lifecycle starts with an idea. You start with an idea, you do your research, then you get into development, then you take that product to market, and then you manage the life cycle of the product, right? The product can sell, the product can perform bad, you want to enhance the product. So the life cycle management of the product happens. And at one point, it's always a graph of it. It goes up and it comes down. At one point, it goes to end of life, and then something else comes out of that. And the star is where exactly you have to also not just have the development of the product, but also you have to develop the model here. And we'll talk about the product management lifecycle more detail. And then I'll talk to you how the model sits on top of the product, and then how the model's output has to will have an impact on go-to-market lifecycle and end of life. So that's how it got the relationship. I'll explain this in detail in the next meeting. I'll meet you in the next one.